Hi, Joe Rizik with Synergy Physical Therapy and Wellness here. Wanted to talk about something today that comes up a lot with patients, especially when they're kind of getting near the end of their therapy and they're asking, hey, what can I do to stay active in the long term, and how do I get back to the gym, things like that. The topic of machines, should I use weight machines in the gym? So, say they go to a fitness center, and they ask that question. So really how I answer that is generally no, first of all. There are a few exceptions. Things like leg press, for instance, imitate a squat. That's kind of a whole body motion, kind of imitates weight bearing. That's probably good. But in general, machines are going to isolate. So you have to ask yourself, do you really want to isolate? Or do you want to integrate? I would say integration's always better, meaning, okay, for instance, if you want to train your bicep, for instance, okay, you could do a isolated, curl type machine thing that, yes, would isolate your bicep. Or you could do, say, a full body row or pull against a rubber band where, everything's kind of moving together, all right? I am also bending my elbow. I'm also doing the same thing as I do with a dumbbell. However, when I'm coming back like this, I'm getting shoulder blade muscles, I'm getting posterior deltoid, I'm getting lat, I'm getting back muscles, you get some wrist bending going. So, you're working a lot more. Plus, if you're up on your feet, you're shifting weight, you can tighten your stomach while you do it, get some core activity. So you can work, a lot of muscles at once. You could probably argue, nearly half your muscles with a pulling activity, more of a functional whole body pull or row, as we call it, versus the time it's going to take you to do an isolated bicep curl. So that's isolation versus integration, the way I think about it. Other problem with machines is in a lot of cases, they're going to force you into a poor position, okay? Overhead press is a classic example I talk about a lot. If you're kind of on one of them old school military press machines and you have to grab it like this and then go overhead that way, that puts your arm in an odd position. Generally for shoulder health, let's call it, you're better off with a couple of dumbbells with your hands more facing each other, a little bit kind of, not this way, but a little more toward this way. It doesn't have to be completely palms facing, but more toward palms facing than palms front, if that makes sense. So again, when we do like an old school bar overhead press, or we do a military type press on a machine, it is pushing the shoulder into a poor position for something to do repetitively. Now, people that are going to do different kind of Olympic maneuvers and they have to get the bar overhead, I understand that's different. But for the average person that just wants to preserve shoulder health as they age, maybe the 40 and up crowd, and just wants to stay fit, overhead press with palms forward is not a good thing. So a little sidetrack there, but in general, machines are going to isolate, and I like integration. I want to get as much muscles moving at one time as possible. I want to get the balance system kicked in. I want to get the core kicked in. And when you do non-machine based stuff, you're gonna be more in the latter category. So what does that look like? Well, it can be as simple as breaking things down into push, pull, and lower body. So what I mean by that, if you took a cable machine or a rubber band at home and drove that band forward like this, okay, visualize the band behind me. Sorry, I didn't set one up. And just think of just driving that band forward. I'm tightening my core, I'm pushing weight off my feet, I'm maintaining good posture, and I'm driving that band forward. Well, you're getting the same as like a tricep extension, you're getting the same as bench press, you're getting the same as a fly. All these things you could do in a machine-based environment, you're getting all what I would call your push muscles, okay, doing that, which is all your front muscles, you could say, and your tricep. Then you turn that around and say, okay, what's pull? Pull muscles are just going to be activated doing the opposite, right? So bands here, bands like this, right? Or just pulling against that band like I demonstrated before with the bicep. You're getting all the muscles I mentioned. So by doing a push and a pull circuit, you're going to get all your muscles in your upper body by doing a push and pull, as well as all the benefits I mentioned. Then you go down the legs and you say, well, what do we do with legs? Okay, legs can be as simple as squats and deadlifts, okay? Or even just squats. Or lunges if your knees, can handle that and you don't go too far. A squat is going to work every single muscle in your lower body, period. So thinking of, okay, well, do we want to sit on a machine and do the isolated knee extension thing where you just extend the knee and then you lay on your stomach and you do the leg curls, then you might do some calf raises, and then you might, what I think is really crazy is you get on those machines and you're bringing your legs apart like that, like hip out to the side. That's just crazy to me. It's like, why would you want to isolate when you can actually literally work every single one of those muscles with a squat? Start out with body weight, add some light dumbbells, maybe go to a bar if you're ready for that and your form can handle it. Sometimes starting with just a wooden dowel or PVC is going to make sure your form is correct before you start adding weight. But a squat's going to work every muscle in your lower body. It's going to work your balance. It's going to work, core and everything else. And then, deadlifts, good to throw in if you want to emphasize, what some people call posterior chain or posterior core, which is simply just like your glutes and your hams. You're gonna emphasize a bit more doing a deadlift. It's got to be done right too. I mean, deadlift, don't load up a lot of weights. Start without weights, then go to just the bar, then go to light weights. Dumbbells are easier probably than barbell when you're starting out, but those two things are going to work everything. And as I said, if you want to throw in a lunge, you can mix it up a little bit, but it is that simple. So you don't have to isolate, and in fact, I would say it's probably to your detriment to do so, just because you're not working things in integration. You're not working the body how it's designed to work. One muscle's pushing, one muscle's pulling, one muscle's contracting, one muscle's relaxing. That's how we stay in balance. But when we throw that off potentially by using machines, that can lead to some problems, and so I hope that helps. Again, it's this common question I get. In summary, generally body weight and then resistance added to body weights are going to be better for you because you're working more, simultaneous muscle groups at the same time. And generally integrating something like a whole body pull, a whole body push, is going to be better than isolating the upper body on a machine. Okay, so I hope that helps. Comment below if you have any questions and I'll be happy to answer. Okay, thanks.